Okay, so there's no real format to these. It's just whatever questions you all have, technology related, you know, websites, social media, you know, whatever it is you all want to talk about. This is not a lecture style. It's a collaborative. So who's got questions for technology and advertising and things like that?
Well, I'm in the process of doing my website, redoing my website right now through a company, and I'm working on my database, trying to clean it up and import it into the CRM again. And
Okay.
after that, I will start have a schedule for mailing and dripping. In the meantime, I'm just doing my farming once a month, paper mail, and working on those so that I can do a little more electronically. Not that I'm not doing it, but I am. It's just not in the
Right.
open.
But a little more efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you doing the data migration from one system to the other?
I literally might download everything to the spreadsheet from my last company. And now I'm working on spreadsheet and I'm combining all my past client. And then I have three database. One is my past client and one is my farm that I get that I'm nurturing. And the other one will be the absentee. So I have three type of people in here migrating from a
Okay.
spreadsheet
So
to
yeah,
full.
I've done several data migrations and it always ends up in an Excel and you've got to normalize all the fields and try to get it right again. And it's so stressful.
I've been stressed. It's been stressful. But
And what are
oh,
you moving from and to? Which
um,
system are you moving from and which one are you moving to?
I'm moving to Brevity,
Okay.
and they're hosting my website as well.
Brevity?
Yeah.
Okay. Not one I've worked with a lot. It's my understanding that they don't have any APIs to other softwares. Brevity is Ben Kinney's company, right? From
Yep.
the yep. And Brevity, to my knowledge, does not do any APIs to things like Follow Up Boss or Line Desk or anything like that. So it's kind of a closed system once you get into it.
What is the ATI?
API.
Oh,
It's a
API.
program, yeah, like you can use BombBomb with Real Geeks. Well, there's an API that relates those two systems together, kind of like Zapier is one big API company. They just help exchange data back and forth. Brevity does not allow any sort of, to my knowledge, does not allow API. So once you're in Brevity, you can't use any ancillary softwares with it.
Oh,
Just think about that. If that's going to be important for you to use some other software with this, they are kind of a locked down environment, if I understand correctly.
And to Bob's
okay.
point, that having your website in a separate CRM, because most websites come with their own CRM, but they're usually not as robust as outside CRMs, such as BombBomb or Follow Up Boss. And a lot of people like to have the website CRM that sends people property reports, new listings, and things like that. But they, like Bob, uses BombBomb to send out newsletters and things like that. So this way you don't have as much data being transferred through one domain, which then Google could mark as spam. By using a separate CRM from that, it doesn't look like you're spamming and emailing constantly from the same domains.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
I did a quick Google.
Okay,
It
I
looks like
gotta
they
think
do have an
about that.
API.
I'm sorry, say that again, Matt.
I did a quick Google search with Brevity and API, and it says that they do available through API Nation.
Oh, they've changed then.
And then they also mention Zapier.
They've changed because back when we were trying to work it, they wouldn't allow it.
So that is coming from, I don't know what my I'm sorry, I don't know what AI I have connected to my Google, but that's what's coming up in the AI overview.
Interesting. Yeah, they used to be locked down pretty extreme. Okay, we got more people
Obviously
joining
worth
in.
checking into.
Yeah, and that's a question you should ask them. You know, rather than we can trust AI to, as far as we can throw it. Let's ask the question. Let's ask the question. You know, is this something that I can work with? Is this something that will integrate with other softwares? Because what you don't want to do is move to this and then suddenly have growing pains and have to move back out of it.
Yeah, I'll
So,
look into it, but from what I have, from what they told me is they have the, I mean, they have a lot of things that I like in there too. Is I
okay.
think the API I need to look into more, but it sounds like they were able to send out a lot of stuff for me.
Okay.
I'm learning the system. I can't say too much about it.
We are all learning every day. That's why this is a workshop, not a lecture. So I learned not to put a comma in the wrong place because I just realized that comma is throwing off some of my sorting on my website. So I'm sitting here fixing pages that I fixed yesterday because the comma's out of place. So, okay, who else has got some technology stuff? I see some new folks here. What do we see going on our sites and our socials? What's going on?
Well, I discovered a little nugget. Let's see, I watched your video from last month where you were doing sidebars.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was your video last month. And so I jumped into that. I created one sidebar, got it into my Real Geeks, and then was left with the puzzle of how am I going to duplicate this by using the URL string and just changing, say, the city name. And on Chrome, there isn't really a find and replace. So I don't know how you normally do that. Initially, I was tasked with doing this in spreadsheet form and then copy and paste over into the Real Geeks build a side page. But I reached out to Mert, actually. I'm surprised he's not on here. But anyway, I reached out to him and he said that he would normally pay someone to code that. But I found there's a extension, a Chrome extension that you can do a find and replace on your Real Geeks building a sidebar page, I guess it is. So I don't know if that's
Okay.
what you normally do when you're
Are
adjusting.
you asking what I normally do or
I don't know if that is what you normally do. If you build your sidebar in Excel and then copy over, or
Excel?
if you build it in
I build it in Excel.
and then do you copy and paste all of those? If you have, let's say you've got 15 different categories in your sidebar, do you then copy those one by one over to the Real Geeks?
No, I change the city name in the sidebar. Everything changes. I copy the whole segment and pop it in.
You don't have
Okay.
to do for control find replace. It's the code built into when you're in Excel. There's you can put there in there, you know, that one piece you want to change, and it will you just type it in and it'll just change on all the code. So you only have to copy the entire code for all 15 of those sidebars and replace. This way you don't have to do that control find replace and do it over and over and over again.
Okay, but how do you get that from Excel over to your Real Geeks?
You copy and paste.
Once it changes
Do
the
you do
city
it
name.
line by line?
Mm-mm.
If you had 15 lines on your Excel?
So the
I've
15
got
lines change, but Bob's only changing that one piece of information, and it will automatically update in Excel. So it does require you know a little bit about how Excel works.
I get that.
Okay,
I'm
so
with you there.
okay,
But then I just
the
want to know, how do you get from Excel to you're building your Real Geeks page in Chrome?
you copy paste it over.
Okay, well then
Do you want to do a one-on-one and we can work on it together?
I just tell you, I found something that is so much faster that you can actually find and replace in Chrome.
Okay.
So you can duplicate your sidebar and then change your city name. And it does it on all 15 rows.
If you want to do a one-on-one, I'm happy to share screen and look at what you're doing. Or you want to share screen now? I'll show you.
I'm trying to get, I feel like I found a shortcut, and so I'm offering it to you. But yeah, I can offer it to you.
Do you want to show it to you? Do you want to share screen?
Sure. Let me get to a place.
Let's see what we got here.
Yes.
And it's fun when you think you found a shortcut that helps you. That's great.
So, so here is a sidebar. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so I've got Addison, for instance, and I'm thinking when you're in Excel, that you're going to have to copy and paste from Excel each one of these
No, sir.
line items. Is that correct?
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
We're doing it different. I see where you're going, but we do it a little different, but this is fine. So you're
Okay,
just doing a find and replace on here and it's in building individual line items
right.
there.
But if you do a Control F on Chrome, oh, now it's going to let me do it, of course, because I'm sharing my screen. Oh no, this is find. It will find Addison, but there's no replace within Chrome.
Okay.
And so then what I found was this extension. And so then you can see that I was doing from Highland Park to University Park, but here if I do Addison and I want to change it to Dallas, then I have, if you can see that there's 451 instances where it's in my name, my anchor
Right.
tag, and
So how are you copying the sidebar and you're duplicating the sidebar? So you would hit the duplicate button in the corner and you would then change, find Addison, change to Dallas.
right.
Yeah, we have a different process, but I see your process and how it's working.
Okay, I didn't know what your process was. I knew that the strategy was to build these sidebars, and so so when I found that I couldn't find and replace in Chrome, and then I found a place that I could find and replace in Chrome, I felt like I was cheating because
It's not cheating when you can do it.
It seemed like
It's
it
not
was
cheating when
way
you can
too
do it.
easy.
Yeah.
So anyway, but like I said, I had reached out to Mert on social media on Messenger, and his response was he had basically hired a programmer, and I was like, oh well, look what I just found. And so I figured if he didn't know this, then maybe you all didn't know this. And so, like I said, I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, I love it when people discover new stuff.
Yeah. So it's not cheating. What is it?
It's convenience.
It is convenient.
It's efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I felt
Yeah.
like I was tasked with copying all of that over into Chrome. And
So
when
I understand now what you're saying, one by one by one by one by one. Yeah, we're not doing it quite that way.
okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, who else has got questions or ideas? I see Rob sitting there.
I guess I have a question.
Okay, let's go.
Totally new to all of this stuff. So what is the sidebar? Where does it go?
What remind me which website you're using.
I was using Wix.
Okay. So a lot of us here are using Real Geeks. So in a Real Geek site, you have the ability to do a sidebar. Okay. Tell me when you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Okay. So this is a sidebar here. And it's a place to list all the cities and styles that you want to use. Okay. So let's pick on Dewey Beach, Delaware. And within Dewey Beach, we have all these subordinate searches we can do, different styles of houses, different lot descriptions, things like that. It makes your site more robust because you have the ability to add a lot of additional links per city.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of other sites don't give you a sidebar. Almost some of them will do it in like open and closable sections, but this is a really strategic way to just add to your site exponentially as you're growing. Matt was showing one way to build them. I build them a different way. The end result is we both end up with sidebar links.
Okay. Got it.
So, yeah, and Wix is nice for brochureware. I mean, it's not going to have an IDX probably attached to it, I would just presume.
No, but I'm able to put an IDX link straight from the MLS that I can put in there.
Oh, really?
It'll let you copy the link from the MLS and use it in your website.
And there are IDX solutions that are just the IDX and not a website. I used to have
Right.
one years ago.
IDX broker, I think.
IDX broker, yeah, I used to use IDX broker way back then, and you could embed that in your Wix site. It's not gonna be the easiest thing for you to do if you're not good with HTML, if you're not a web developer, because you're basically just inserting a frame, but you can do it.
Okay.
So if you can get to a budget of $80 a month, pro agent website, you can do a lot with a pro agent website at $80 a month. If you can get to 300, Real Geeks. If you can spend more than 300, don't. I mean, I was looking at somebody's Sierra Interactive site today, and they really love Sierra, and it's great. There's only one flaw with Sierra, and that's the query string URL is hard to engage there. So, and query string URL is at the top. You know, when you're typing in the name of what you're searching for, it builds that search in the URL. Like Matt was showing us with his site, Addison becomes Dallas, and so you can change the URL and get a different result. Sierra doesn't do that well. Okay, Sierra sometimes just brings up a URL that says, you know, bob.com/results, and it doesn't say anything after the word results.
It doesn't tell Google what it is.
Right. It doesn't tell you what the order, like if you and I are running a sandwich shop and I put down bread equals, you know, wheat, meat equals ham, cheese equals Swiss, onion equal true, pickle equal false. You know how to build that sandwich. When we're doing what's called a query string URL, it's city equal Carrollton, minimum price equals 200,000, maximum price equals 400,000. You know what the search is going to be. And anywhere you put that URL, it's going to pull up the current results. And what we find with Sierra is it just says sandwich, but no detail about what's in the search. So it's hard to figure out.
They use all coding, so it'll just have numbers and letters that mean nothing to Google.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why we like this system, because it's really easy to change and work on. But there's a lot of higher, like Wailopo and what's the other one? I'm sorry, Boomtown. $900 a piece, and I don't see why. I just don't see it. So, hey Rob, tell me how you're doing. Ricky,
Hold on.
Melissa, y'all jump in here.
Yes.
Yeah, Bob. Hey, I have been meaning to jump on your things here. I've followed you for a couple of years, and you've done an amazing job. I think. I remember when you started out really just trying to learn the system, and now look at you. You're like dominating this thing. So good for you. I am so
Thank you.
far behind where you are in what you're doing with these websites or with the Real Geeks. I've been with Real Geeks 5 years now. Love it. I am going to, if you're in agreement, I'm just behind, I think, some of the people here. So I'm just sitting here listening, trying to absorb. Um, but I think at some point, maybe after this, I would, and I'm happy to pay you for your service, is have you go through and just do an audit of my site. Tell me where we need to go, and and I'm happy to pay you for classes or information or something. I like to be very self-sufficient, but you have got to the point where you can shorten my learning
thank
curve
you.
tremendously. I know you've spent 3 years on this, and I would prefer not to have to reinvent the wheel. So I'm happy to pay you to help me with it. So in
Absolutely.
regard to what
Thank
we're talking
you.
about sidebars here and everything, I just simply don't have anything to add. So we do a lot of social media.
What's your
We're very,
website name? Do you mind if we look at it together?
of course, yeah, it's swanrealtyinc.com. So swanrealtyinc.com.
I think I found you here. And Ricky, we'll come back to you in just a second here. So this is
Sure.
you?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so let me get my Uber Suggest going here. By the way, if you're not running Google Analytics and Google Search Console, we need to talk and set those up. Matt, if you want to set up a one-on-one, I'll show you how to do them if you don't have them. It's a really good way. And I just discovered, and Leslie, this is going to impact us on our Florida work that we just did. I have a comma out of place. I have a comma out of place. So, and I only found that out because, yeah, I see your face and you're gonna be mad at me. I did a change and Google Search Console came back and said, whoops, you didn't do the change right. So having your Google Search Console and your analytics running can tell you what's going well for your site and what's not. Okay, so when was the last time we updated this?
I'm always adding to the blogs, everything. Probably all the infrastructure you see here has been a couple of years.
Okay, so what's your magnet city?
Red River.
Red River, New Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay. So Red River, New Mexico would be what you talk about here more than you talk about yourself and your company and your phone number. This is your meta description.
Okay.
Okay. When people are moving to Red River, they don't care about us yet. They care about where they're moving to, and they want to see a lot of houses. Okay. Because if it's just about you and your company, they're not shopping for you and your company. They want to know about the area. So
Agreed.
I would change your whole meta description and keywords around to be about Red River, New Mexico. Which, by the way, I understand is a lovely place. My mom went there a couple times and loved it.
That is nice.
You would also go into each of these pages, and we'd fix the keywords and meta description there as well. Now, one thing this is actually not that bad. It's not, and thank you for not having a movie here. Some sites have, oh, actually it does change. When you have the wiggles and the changing pictures and especially the movies, you're just putting weight on the site and it makes it slower, and Google does not reward slowness. Google rewards speed and content. Okay. Now you actually have more organic traffic than you may realize you have. This is just from Ubersuggest. You had a real big fall off. You lost half your organic traffic between October and November. Do you remember what happened?
We're seasonal.
Okay. Okay. Then
We're a
that makes
vacation
sense.
home market, so that's typical of everything in the area.
Well, since I don't take vacations, apparently I didn't realize that. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is I would change this up and just have it all be like when somebody comes to the site, just all houses, because they will learn to fall in love with you later. They're coming to your website to find a home, not to find me. So I try to get out of the way and get them right to houses. And I would brighten it up a little bit. And we can talk about this one-on-one, book a time with me, websitebob.com.
Sure.
And we'll go over some ideas. And I want to get ideas from you as to what you want too. And I would just take everything in this advanced search. I would take every possible combination of county and city and make a link for it.
Okay.
Because you're paying the same $300 per month for the site. Why not make referrals in some place that's way too far, you don't want to drive there, but somebody could be looking for a house there and it's on your site and you're advertising it better, make the referral. That's true for everybody on this call. Make the referral outside the area because I get some people are like, well, I only want to list the 6 places I drive to. But you're paying $300 already, advertise all 200 places and just refer it out.
That is brilliant. Thank you, Bob, for saying that.
Hey, Rob,
Well,
are you getting leads signing up on your website?
Say again.
Are you getting people who sign up on your website?
Yeah, we do.
Can I
You
tell you how way you get more of them to do it?
go ahead.
Force them to register, because I've looked at like 12 properties on your site and never once has it asked me to register.
Yeah, I know. I go back and forth on that about, and I just, I've had it to where it's set at 1, set at 3, and it's probably off right now if you're jumping around all over the place. So what is the general consensus?
If they're serious,
First
they'll
one.
register.
First one.
If they're
one.
serious, they'll register.
So you don't find them jumping ship if you're being asked for something right
Okay.
away.
Rob, you and I are going to run a clothing store. Okay, we're going to put some nice suits and trousers and stuff in the front window, and the people come into the store, They can steal the first 3 shirts, but maybe they'll pay for the 4th. I don't want them to jump somewhere else, because then they might go steal shirts from somebody else. They're literally stealing your data and you're letting them.
Okay, so here's something the blog posts, I do a lot of social media on the blog posts, and they're all hosted on the website. Is it possible, and I've never seen a place where I could do this, to where I could have some free content, and then as soon as, to try to get their interest, then
Yeah,
as soon as
the
they
blogs
move
will be
deeper,
free.
what's that?
The blog will be free. The blog will be free.
How do I
But
make
if they
the
want to see a
blog?
house, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. So I could make the blog so they don't have to sign up. See, there's my latest blog right there.
Right.
So I would like for people to be able to read that, because then you're
Yeah.
building authority, and then it's like, oh, okay, this guy's knows what he's talking about. Maybe I'll look at the rest of his site, and then then make them sign up.
It's a house. When they click on a house, that's when they're forced to sign in.
But the blog, okay, so the blog is never, it has forced
Blog
sign
is
in.
never a sign in.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. But here's the idea. What you're giving them is a product. You can't let them steal your product.
Okay.
And once they're already
Sorry.
looking at that house, and here's the thing, oftentimes people will jump from website to website. And most of the times the reason they're doing that is because when they got to that other person's website, it was all about them. There was nothing houses for them to look at. So they click the back button, go back to Google. Then they go to the next one. Once they get to a site that actually has a property in front of them, instead of them having to search for it, they're probably going to go ahead and register. It gives them the option just to click that Facebook register button. They're just going to do it because they don't want to go and find another website that's not going to show them houses right away. That's why you need to have the product up front, but you also need to make them register. And if they're more willing to register, now at least you can start marketing to them. Like they can get your newsletter every week. They will receive updates on the properties, because when they register on your website, Real Geeks automatically creates that search for them and starts mailing that to them out. I think it's twice a week automatically.
Right.
Change that.
Yeah, no, we've actually got a nice workflow, and I've got about 4,000 people in it.
Excellent. That's really
yeah,
good.
so we've been doing that quite a bit. And then I repurpose that too. We do a tremendous amount of custom lists in Facebook. I'm always building custom lists, and those have been very effective. And I use tax data. I use our website. I even have other websites out there that have nothing to do with real estate that we embed pixels in. So, but it has to do with the area. So they come to the area, look for it. And I think I might have gotten that tip from you, Bob. Didn't you used to do like a Dallas
Still do.
restaurant review or something?
Now I will say it's slow on my page over here some days, but today's DFW is the site that we run. John actually helps me with that. And I apologize on everybody else's browser, it's fast. On my browser, it's slow. But it's a website of places to go shop and eat and things to do around the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
And do you embed metapixels into that site?
I don't think we do. I think we should.
You should,
John.
because you can run now you've got a custom list.
John.
Because like we run metapixels on, I have sites that have nothing to do with real estate, I'll put blog posts up, have nothing to do with real estate or anything, but their human interest or their area interest, and people come to those, and I'm like, okay, that same person who's interested in this town is coming to this website. He might want to buy a house. And so I build meta custom lists off of those as well.
You and I may be on co-creation thing. I've been changing all of my pages because I found a thing changed in there was a change in Netris, our local MLS, that changed some of the keywords that I could grab. And so I'm over here coding, and I was having today's DFW embedded in each of my city pages. So if somebody was looking at Carrollton, they could see all the places to shop and eat. Here it finally comes up. But what I've done is I've stripped this out because it takes a little while to load, and I want my load time to increase. So my pages will now just be all the houses. I think I'm going to go create a lifestyle page for each of those cities, a second page that's all about the lifestyle of Carrollton, and then have a Carrollton homes and a Carrollton lifestyle. And they can click between the two, but let the lifestyle page load slower, cities load faster, and take the weight off the city pages.
Okay. So you have this DFW, today's DFW, you have that in your sidebar for your Dallas pages, or
No, I took it off. The one I'm telling you is I'm taking it off the sidebars and taking it off of the Real Geeks pages right now. I want to speed them up a little bit just
okay?
for SEO, but I may create a secondary page for each of the cities that's all about the lifestyles. So that then
Oh, gotcha.
they can decide if they want to spend the extra time going to the lifestyle page, great. I didn't want to slow the houses down anymore.
So what are you going to do? You're just going to do an iframe with that page onto another Real
Well,
Geeks page, or are you just putting a link?
It's FeedSpot here has snippets that you can do, not snippets. What am I trying to say? Widgets. You create widgets, and the widgets within will show like the top 6 blog posts.
Oh, okay. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And I just don't have it up here. I didn't expect to show that today. I'd have it ready. So yeah, if you want to book on what websitebob.com,
Heck
just book
yeah,
some time.
I'm in.
Yeah. Hey Ricky, what did you want to ask about?
Well, I think you kind of answered the question, which is it's good to start with the $300 a month site and then, start building out. From what I'm seeing is have, the different areas of where I'm at, but other cities as well for referrals. And
Gotcha.
so, yeah, I guess it sounds like I should be having a blog. Is that what I heard?
A blog is great because there's a way there's 2 ways of doing blogs, on your site and off site. If you
Okay.
do it on your site, you grab traffic to your site. If you do it off site, you have link backs created.
Okay,
So
I see.
we do a variety of the two. I'm sorry, we do on page for certain things, and then we do off site through WordPress or Active Rain to get link backs.
Got you. Okay. Now, what other things would you recommend I do? I'm just waiting till my license goes active before I get that all going.
So just for an example here, leaves books and tea shop. And John, like I said, John in on this chat right here is in charge of the blogs for me. Come on, baby. It is super slow on my system only, and I don't know why. But in this blog, it's going to have everything about the tea shop and the pictures and stuff like that. And at the
Gotcha.
bottom, it'll say, this one's in Plano, Texas, hypothetically. Here's a link to our Plano page. And it'll link back to the page that
Oh, I
is
see
about
what you're
this city.
saying.
Magnolia Avenue in Fort Worth, this is going to link to our Fort Worth page. So this is a way that every one of these blogs becomes a backlink. Now, the other thing he does and helps us with is he puts them on our Google business profile. He puts them on our Google business profile. And do you also put these on? These are already on WordPress. Help me out, John. I'm losing my thoughts there.
They go on Blue Sky and Instagram
Blue Sky and
and
Instagram. That's where they're going.
Facebook
Yeah.
page too.
Yeah. So as many places as we can start putting these things, the better.
Gotcha.
In your business profile, Google business profile is a great way to take like the links Matt's building, take those links and put those out there on Google business profile as products.
And
Because
something,
that products page needs to be filled up.
and if you want to do
Hey,
something,
Matt, here's something else for you to do.
and there's something that what Bob's doing is he's not just talking about real estate. And the only thing I would honestly change is at the bottom where it says you want to live close to something like this. I might add like the stats to that area, like homes. If you're looking for homes for sale in this area for this much money or this much money, I might actually add almost like you have that sidebar, but just like options for them to click into that. So now Google sees that as, oh, homes for sales to this link goes back to this website instead of check out the available homes for sale. I might be a little bit more detailed at the bottom.
Oh, I love that. Now I see what you're saying. So you're really talking about this shop, but at the
Yeah.
end, I see that want to live near the books.
Maybe a little
Right.
bit more about that neighborhood or that area with links back to homes for sale, whether it's, hey, here's some townhomes here, single family homes here, almost like Bob has done the sidebar on his website. Not as quite detailed, but actually adding a little bit more information at the bottom so that it's more descriptive about what's for sale there.
Got you.
Yeah. Actually, John, that's a good note to take. Maybe we work on that. Yeah, we use a combination of WordPress and we use ActiveRain as well to get backlinks to our sites built up.
Because they're already reading your blog, and at the bottom, you're now saying, hey, here's available things. They already think you're the expert because your blog is already talking about that area. So why wouldn't they go onto your website to look at homes for sale?
Sure.
I have a question about pro agents since I just got a new website from them.
Sure.
Can it do sidebar?
No, it does buttons at the bottom.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it does buttons at
Like
the
with
bottom. What's your website?
PlanoTexasRealty.com.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Yeah,
I think I've got one that's already built out. Yeah, let me show you this one.
someone did not grab that URL for some reason.
Plano, Texas Realty?
Yep.
Holy shit, that's a good one. Oh, so this is a pro agent website, and I've spent time building out with this client all these buttons. Okay. Pro agent is good. It doesn't convert as well as Real Geeks, but if that's what you can afford, it's a good start. And what you're doing is you're building legacy with your URL so that Google is used to you being there. Because if you have a brand new URL with lots of links, Google's kind of like, who are you? You're brand new. We don't know you yet. But the longer your URL is out there with content, it's better. Okay. So in this case, and I don't know if y'all know this, if you do site : website address, it'll tell you how many pages Google's indexing. 12,000 pages. That's a really pretty healthy for a site like that. That's really pretty healthy. And that'll help you understand your indexing as well. And if you're looking at your competitors, you can, see what they're indexing and how they're doing. If you have a tool like Ahrefs or Ubersuggest, you can kind of go look at other people and see how are they doing? What's their traffic? And it's not always exactly accurate like Google Analytics would be, but it's enough to give you an idea of how they're doing. If somebody says, I sold a $3 million property, well, you can go in the MLS and see if they really did, usually, unless it's, brand new house. So this is a good way to look up somebody else's traffic and see what they're up to. You can also do that with, there's a product called GMB Everywhere, Google My Business Everywhere, that lets you look up other people's Google business and see what they're doing there. So. Other ideas, other questions? Ricky, which market are you moving from?
So I moved from Austin, Texas, and I threw a lot of money.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on doing everything I could to build my business there, and I just did not see the return on the investment.
Ricky, you didn't put your last name on your thing. Of course I know you. My God. I'm sitting here going, wait. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so I'm the managing broker for our real estate company out there, still. But yeah, I just, it was hard for me to break in to that market during COVID. I mean, yes, I did have a few sales, but nothing compared to what I did in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
So yes,
Right.
I will admit I'm a little terrified. I'm a little nervous about breaking into this market over here because it didn't go very well for me in Texas for 3.5 years that I was there.
Some markets are harder to penetrate. Like my Dallas page has been up for years, since I think 2017. Leslie, did we move over? I think 2017. My Austin page, it's hard to get it's hard to break into Austin.
Yes, it is. It
East
was
Texas has
brutal.
been much easier to break into because there's
Gotcha.
less competition out there.
Yeah.
So,
But that's
go
where
ahead.
the sidebars come in handy, is that, Bob knows and I know he's never going to be on the front page of Google for Dallas Realtor. However, for 2-bedroom homes with a pool in Carrollton, Texas, he's probably going to show up in the top.
Mhm.
And so those suburb areas and those being neighborhood specific, zip code specific, school district specific is where his bread and butter is. So when you're in that big metro area, you're not gonna make it if your focus is Austin. But if you narrow your focus down to those long tail keyword searches, that's where it's going to start coming in because other agents aren't doing that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I sure took a beating.
Yeah, and it's a little heartbreaking to realize, I built this great site and nobody's seeing it. But that's where you might want to go to your Google Business Profile and see what you're ranking for. Who's got a Google Business Profile we can look at?
You could look at mine.
John, you want to share your screen?
Yeah. Un momento.
I want to show you a little trick we can use when we're blogging with Google Business Profile. Because, okay, yeah, let's go that one. Okay, go to your, when this comes up, let's go to the analytics part of it, which is come on, baby.
It's loading slow.
So it's not just my internet. That's good.
No,
Okay, go
no,
to
guess
performance,
not.
please.
Performance.
Performance. Yes, performance. And on the right-hand side, scroll down gently. So April isn't built out yet. There's going to be okay, those keywords right there. Worth Clark, John Turner, all those things that are there. And a lot of times there's a whole lot of keywords there. Those are keywords you're ranking for. Go write blogs already, write blogs that use those keywords. You've got Texas Pride there, John. Do you want to show Texas Pride real quick?
Sure.
Let's see if we have a few more keywords.
You should.
I might. It's going
I
to be
would hope
embarrassing
so.
if we don't.
I would hope it's
It's going to
more
be
than
really
3.
embarrassing. Okay, so let's go to performance. This is where I get performance anxiety because I have no idea what it's going to look like. Thank you for laughing at that joke. Okay, so, and scroll down gently.
Much better than mine.
Okay, there's some more keywords. So this is where if we click on see more at the bottom of that, suddenly see more, we're going to get a list of keywords. We should start using these keywords in our blog because these keywords already show up as something that Google Search Console is showing us towards. Now, obviously, like there's some things in here that we're not a different broker. I'm not Bob Murray, so I shouldn't use that keyword. But whoever Bob Murray is, sorry, you're ranking for me. These are things we should be looking at using in blogs because they're already rankable. And then we should put those blogs in here as an update. So go ahead, John, close this part out. In where you're going to see add update, we could go in there and add an update about something with those keywords. Okay. Or you can add a product, but in this case, it'd probably be an update. If you've written a longer blog, let's say you've written a blog on WordPress or ActiveRain, you can come put a link to that blog and then put the first snippet of the blog in the update, the first 1,000 characters, put it in there, and then, just say see more, click below, and then take them to the larger blog post. But those are keywords that you already rank for that you should already be doing. And here's John's work on today's DFW. And he's taking the blog there and putting, and if you click learn more, I believe it's going to take you to, drum roll please, today's DFW, which comes up so much faster on his page than mine.
Bob, while you're on Google Business, I have a quick question. How do you suggest dealing with multiple locations? Should they have their own GMB page or should they be combined? And I've just struggled with this and I get frustrated with it and then I give up do you have any thoughts?
I would try to do multiples.
Okay.
I've had some coaching clients have success with having branches. Right now, I'm just too nervous to touch anybody's Google business with never change your name, never change your address, never change your website or your email. Those trigger almost immediate suspensions until you can prove something. And once you get suspended, it's really hard to get it back.
So how do you deal with you know, if the business name is the same, it's just multiple locations. I think before what I had done is I had put like Swan Realty, Red River, Swan Realty, Angel Fire, and I ended up getting a note from Google that says, "Hey, we changed your name of your business page for you." I'm like, so how do you distinguish the two? Because they're going to see it as one and the same.
Rob, can you share your screen? Let's look at it.
Yeah, where's the share screen button? Hold on a second.
Green button between our faces. By the way, this is what I love doing, everybody, is jumping into other people's stuff and just seeing what they got and trying it out.
Green button. I'm sorry. Where the heck is it?
Green button between all of our faces. At the bottom, it says mute, stop video, security, participants, share screen.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, I see here.
Yeah, when
Yeah, okay,
I'm
I got it
coaching
now.
people, we always share screens back and forth like 20 times a day.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me to do that, but I'll do it. Okay, so let's see here. And
Okay, let's go to business.google.com. Yeah, business.google.com. Get you
let me
right there.
spell correctly.
You know, I can't spell for crap. So
Well, and
is
yeah,
that a
almost
comma
got it.
or a dot?
It's a comma. Hold on.
Yeah, that's okay. I got screwed up today because I was coding something and I had the curly quotes, not regular quotes. And if anybody's ever worked in code, curly quotes will kill you. And I could not see it for about 20 minutes. And finally, go ahead, what?
So see, can you guys see my screen? I'm assuming
Yes.
you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've
So
got
we have
Swan
Whisper
Realty, Red
Creek.
River, New Mexico, Swan Realty, Angel Fire, two complete separate addresses. So let me click on this one. So see, it says Swan Realty there. So let me
Right.
back out of that. And
So you successfully got two different ones.
I did, but I thought I was getting, but see, it says Swan Realty there too. It just
Don't change it.
they changed the name to Swan Realty for both of them. So maybe they're understanding that this is a separate one, because I remember getting notifications said we changed this for you, and I'm like, well, thank you, I guess. And by both of them are verified, so
Yeah, don't say thank you,
don't
sir.
do
May I have
anything.
another?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah, okay. It looks like we're in good shape then. Okay,
Yeah, I would
I'm not
leave
going
that
to mess
alone.
with it.
And okay, go into your performance while we're here.
Mm,
The one thing is that your reviews won't show up for both. Oh, you're doing quite well. Okay, website clicks, please.
website.
Okay, so the majority of the business you're getting is people clicking over to your website.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, let's scroll down gently and look at the keywords there.
Have to move you guys. Doesn't want to scroll. Whoops. Yeah. Sorry. So we're on website clicks. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
It doesn't. I
scroll
can't scroll
down.
beyond this.
Okay, so it's not letting
That's
you
it.
do that?
No.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
it's not
it's getting
showing you the
on
keywords
the
that you show.
overview.
Oh, I'm
Click
sorry.
back
Yeah,
to
go back to overview.
overview.
Okay.
Now you
Now
can
Matt is
scroll.
correct.
Okay, gotcha. So
Matt to the rescue. Okay, so these are search terms that you should start working into your blogs. And if you go down to the bottom of that,
okay.
there's see more, and there's a whole list probably of keywords that, you know, because you have a mature presence here, you should write blogs about different things that are on this list.
Yeah, this is good information, Bob. Thank you. So these are all
Some
the
days I'm
keywords that
not
have been
just a pretty
searched.
face. Some days I'm not even a pretty face.
Look at the misspelled words people search for. So maybe that's a real long tail there.
But this begs the question: do you misspell it again just because that's how they're spelling it? And
That's
I've legitimately sat there and stared at my screen, going, "Do I leave misspelling?"
Well, you know what I've read before. It's like if a word is commonly misspelled, do it. You know, put it on your site as misspelled,
Yeah,
or at least put it in the meta description or something somewhere, because it'll show up.
yeah,
And realty is always spelled reality. I love that one.
right.
You know? Anyway, hey, this is good information. Look at all this. Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, I stumbled into this about two months ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to be grabbing this. Like Swan Realty, Swan Realty.
Well, and yeah,
So
look at the misspelled Swan too.
right.
But you
Storage
know, these are
units.
long tail, but these don't, not one of these is a lot of volume, but if you use all of them, it adds up to quite a bit of
Just need one. Just need one.
yeah, exactly. Huh. Interesting. This is good. Thank you.
Okay.
I guess I won't mess with it looks like they gave me two verified sites, so I'll leave it as is.
You know what? Just start posting to both. Duplicate blogs, whatever you want to do, but for the love of God, just say thank you for both and walk away. I
Yeah, no,
tried to open one when
we post
I tried to
everything.
do
I,
one
I use a little go ahead.
for my Houston branch at one point, and they declined it because I couldn't have both. So you're luckier than me.
And it was a pain to get that second one. I remember I had to go out and take
Yeah.
pictures of the building and videos of the intersection, and man, they ran me through the ringer, but I did everything they asked and eventually got
Yeah. Okay, I want to hop on one thing that I'm seeing in the chat. Ricky? Ricky, are you there?
Yes, so I got the URL, Ricky Sells California, but John did bring up a good point. It is if it had San Jose in the URL or something that I could sell later if I move. Because I'm here now, but I might move to Sacramento, which is 2 hours away.
Right.
And San Francisco's an hour away, so I'm trying to figure, I will be working the cities nearby.
My personal preference, and I don't have anything to back me up on this, is that I don't want my name in the site because if I do want to retire and sell it someday, somebody else could walk in and be Texas Pride Realty. Nobody else could walk in and be Bob McCrane. I mean,
No,
why would
I
they want to?
agree. Yeah, no, I
So
totally see. Yeah.
so I prefer not to have my name in it.
Mhm.
And pretty much all the sites I've built for the different cities and states that I've licensed in, I've kept it generic enough that somebody else could walk in and grab it. But I
Okay.
will urge you to do one thing.
Yes.
I would never tell anybody what sites I was considering, especially in a public forum, because there's going to be
Sure.
some jerk out there who's going to snipe them and go
Yeah.
buy them. I
Bob's
had
never
somebody
done that. Bob's never done
I had
that.
somebody drunk text me, and Matt, you may know this person. Drunk text me in Dallas, and he's another realtor, and he's kind of bougie. And he was drunk texting me about how he was going to put me out of business, and my site wasn't even because he was in Oak Cliff area, and he's like, I don't even I can never see you in Oak Cliff. Well, I'm suburban Dallas. I'm not going to be in Oak Cliff, whatever. And he's like, I'm reopening my team, and here's the names I'm considering. Bitch went and bought those names.
Wow.
Drunk man never got back in the business though. Never. He's like, if you pay me, I'll reactivate my license under you. And I'm like, I'm not paying you. I'm not paying you. You just keep drinking and sending me your ideas. But yeah, I was a little snide and I went and I registered those. So don't put out in the world, hey, I'm thinking about these 3 great names
Yeah,
because
of
somebody's
course.
going to go grab them.
Yeah, I already purchased the one I put up, the
Smart.
Ricky Sells California.
Right.
But I'm gonna go ahead and figure something out because it's a little tricky. Like I'm right in between Sacramento, San Francisco, and San Jose, and I'm near Palo Alto. I mean, it's like, okay, I happen to reside in San Jose, so
What is your brand? This is something we talked about in our last video. What is your brand?
and I don't know.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people give me the answer. And my coaching clients, you're tired of me asking you, but we're going to keep going through. What is your brand?
Oh, I
Okay.
like what John said. California Pride Realty is available. That's cool.
That was just to you. You just gave it publicly now.
I'll
What
be
Bob
right
just
back.
tell you not to do,
GoDaddy.com.
now Bob's gonna go grab that website.
It's all
Just
good.
don't come near Texas Pride. And by the way, I own 40 varieties of that URL.
Right.
Just because I don't want somebody else grabbing something. I actually had to get somebody with the Secretaries of State office who tried to be Texas Pride Real Estate and tried to tell me it was different than Texas Pride Realty. And I'm like, So yeah, Secretary of State had to go after them and say, you can't use that name. So
Wow.
when you own a business name, buy the different varieties and different abbreviations and different things you can think of that would be close to that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because somebody out there is going to envy you and want that. What I didn't tell her was, do you want every queen calling you? Seriously? Because she was not part of our world. But yeah, I'm like, you realize some people think that Texas Pride Realty means I just love Texas, and some people get what that means. You're about to get a lot of phone calls you're not expecting, my friend. So, and she switched to something else. Rob, thank you for
Yeah.
laughing with me and at me at that. But it's like, do you really want to call yourself that?
I know.
Great. Some names you just need to go ahead and ask your friends, is this a good name? And you're like, yeah. And the other thing is when you're spelling your URL, capitalize the first word in the URL, like Texas Pride Realty, TPR, capital T, capital P, capital R. Don't make everything uppercase or lowercase because the eye can't scan it well. Okay. Like on the back of a truck that goes by and it's Joe the plumber, unless the J, J, T, and P are capitalized, is Joe. And I don't have any idea what joetheplumber.com was. Let the eye have a resting point.
And do the same
How
thing with
about
your hashtags. Otherwise, an album party becomes an anal bum party. So
Leslie, you always do this to me on these videos.
real estate queen? California real estate queen.
Okay.
I
You just
mean,
can't use
I'm
realtor.
joking there, but it's, I get the point.
You cannot use realtor in without I can be Bob McCraney realtor. I cannot be Best Dallas realtor.
Got
You
you.
can't put a superlative or a geographic next to the trademark name. You can only be your name realtor.
Mhm.
Okay. And I have turned people in for that.
when thinking about that,
There was
about
somebody, I'm sorry.
when thinking about your website, think about if you can identify the area in the domain name,
Sure, area.
you're probably going to be better off. So identifying the area and what you do is the best way to,
Got
and you can, if you want to build out, because I bet Rob's Swan Realty's been around for a long time, right? Rob, you've been around for a long time, haven't you? Mike?
Yes, I think 2013 was when I started it.
Yeah. So people already know Swan Realty, but not everybody probably knows that it's Rob Swan. So when he goes to sell this one day, he could sell Swan Realty because not everybody's thinking who Rob is.
Got you.
So, but when you do that first name, we're not all going to be Gary Keller of Keller Williams. Like, but by the way, who the hell remembers who Williams was? Nobody.
I never thought of that.
Just saying, nobody remembers who Williams was. We all know who Gary Keller is. Nobody remember who Williams was. But I'm just saying, but it's easier for people to find you when they're searching for real estate if the location and the term real estate or realty or something like that is in the name. Then, Ricky's real estate agency. Well, where does Ricky do business? Who is Ricky? If you can identify the location and what you do in your domain, your Google's going to find you easier.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, I could talk for another 2 hours on this stuff, but we got to get on to other things. If anybody wants to set up a one-on-one, website bob.com, just book a time with me and I'll sit here and help you code. I'll show you what I know. And if you want me to just lift it up and work on it and give it back to you, I can work on that too. So, okay, guys, have a great Easter weekend.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks,
Thank
appreciate it.
you.